Welcome to the 1 Minute Apologist. 1 Minute Apologist. Apologetics seeks to give credible answers to curious questions, to give a defense. What is the moral argument for God's existence? History has spun out several different arguments for trying to establish God's existence in the arena of natural theology. Among these arguments are the cosmological, the teleological, the ontological, and the moral arguments for the existence of God. Now, each of these arguments serve as a separate apologetic piece in the polemical pie when trying to build out an overall cumulative case for God's existence. Now, it's important for us to realize that some of these arguments have later tradition than others. For instance, the cosmological and the teleological argument are more rooted in ancient history, whereas the ontological argument is medieval, and then the moral argument is the newest kid on the block. In fact, the moral argument was really hammered out through the writings of Immanuel Kant. Now, this is not to say that the moral argument wasn't thought about, or I should say that morality wasn't thought about by the ancients. We can look at Plato's idea of the good, or Thomas Aquinas' fourth way and his gradation of values. So we know that this idea of what is good was grappled with, but it was it was Immanuel Kant who really hammered out a great moral argument. And from him, the faucet was loosened, so to speak, and other writers like Hastings Rashdell or William Sorley or John Newman, and even C.S. Lewis, who is known for popularizing this moral argument on the most ubiquitous scale. Now, this moral argument can be a great tool in the hands of Christians when dialoguing with non-Christians or non-believers. It's helpful for us to realize that this moral argument tells us a number of things. First of all, it helps us to ground morality. It shows that it is grounded in the person of God. Secondly, it shows us that morality is objective. Third, it helps us to realize that none of us obtain it, that none of us can keep this moral law. And then finally, it does show us or tell us something about God. That is to say, it tells us that God is good, that He is indeed a moral God.